If you're gonna conceal carry, it's important you practice these hand positions. Hey, in today's video, we're going to talk about some important hand start positions when you go to draw your gun. This is very important if you conceal carry. If you don't know me yet, my name is Caleb Lee. I'm the #1 best-selling author of Conceal Carry 101. I'm also the founder of Patriot Training Center, where we teach live gun training courses in pistols, rifles, and shotguns for people just like you who want to learn how to defend themselves and their family. So, today's tip is, if you're carrying concealed, I think that there are three important hand positions that you should practice. And the best thing about these is they're kind of like an 80-20 way to train the draw skills that you're going to need, and you'll be able to draw your gun from pretty much any position that you find yourself. So the way I like to think about this is a hands below the garment, or a hands below your concealment cover, whatever that is, whether that's a shirt or a sweatshirt or whatever it is, and then one above the garment, and then a one-handed draw, okay? And the reason why I think that's important is those are basically all the three ways that we're gonna find our hands before we have to go for our gun, okay? So either my hands are gonna be down by my side in some way, and I'm gonna be able to grab the garment and come up and then get to the gun, or my hands are going to be up here. Maybe I'm like, hey, get back, some type of fencing position like this, or my hands could be on a person or something like that, and I'm going to have to go down and grab my garment and get it out of the way. Or my hands are going to be preoccupied, whether I'm carrying like groceries coming out of the store, or I have kids and I'm holding my kid's hand or something like that, or my wife, and I had to push them out of the way, and one hand's going to be tied up, so I'm going to have to draw that gun with one hand. And those are kind of like the three basic ways that we're going to have to access our gun, right? So it's going to be from below, from above, with both hands, or just one-handed, okay? And then I think this even translates over to, like, if you do any type of competition shooting, they'll have you have weird start positions that kind of trip people up or whatever. So you may see like hands above the head, like surrender position, or sometimes they'll have you put your hands on a target or something like that. But if you really think about it, all those are different variations of hands above the garment, hands above the waistline. So below the waistline, kind of below the garment, above the waistline, above the garment, and one-handed. I think those are the three start positions that are very important for you to practice if you're going to conceal carry. So this is the way that I do it, just in dry fire, unloaded gun that's safe, and you're doing dry fire. So the first thing I'll do is I'll start with hands just relaxed down by the side. And you can start with using both hands to get that concealment garment out of the way. If the way that I do it now is I just grab it with one hand and I'm pulling up as high as I can, going for the gun, pulling it up, straight away right there, and that's pretty much it, right? So starting here, not touching the garment, but just fingers relaxed down by the side, and I'll rep like that, okay? And I actually like to go for time, so I'll set like a timer on my phone, and I'll just do like a minute or two of these draws, you know? And then once you get the hang of that, you can add in a shot timer, and you can start working on your working on that draw speed. But you don't want to do that until you're making sure that you're getting a good grip every single time. That's what I'm assessing. You know, what am I seeing in my sights? Am I bouncing around, or am I getting my hands on the gun and I have a good grip on it? Just like if this was live fire, I don't want to slack on that grip, which is very easy to do in dry fire, okay? So that's below the waist, okay? And that's pretty much what I practice there. There's other ways to draw below the waist. Another one that people is very popular is like kind of this grabbing the garment with one hand and resting the other one on top. It's still just another variation. It's the same skills, just a different kind of start position, but below the waistline, below the garment, right? So you got here, and it gives you, you know, at least you got one hand on that garment, and it's less likely to get fouled right there, okay? And there could be other start positions down here, whatever it is, but that's basically where I like to start, from the bottom. And then, like I said, I like one above the garment, so above the waistline. So I'll just have my hands up here in kind of like a fencing position, and the first hand goes for the garment, and I'm not gonna, what I found works best for me, you can grab the bottom here, but I get tripped up more with that. So I'll actually come down right on top of the gun and grab as much material as I can, and I'm yanking that up, going for the gun here, coming up, finger off the trigger to where our sights are on target, then our finger goes to the trigger here. So I start here, hands go right there, and then up. And you can do this with both hands, and then go to the gun when you're first starting. And then the way that I progress it is here, okay? And generally, this is maybe like 1/10 of a second slower than my from below, because there is that little bit of extra movement. I have to go down to the gun and then back up with my hands, so you're adding just a little bit extra movement. But this is, like I said, very important to practice, right? Because we're, hey, back up, you know, and then poof, you want to be there. You see I got hung up in my garment there. And that's what you're going to find. At what speed, right? And that's just kind of like how I like to do it, okay? So your hands can be like this, whatever it is. You can put them out here. Like I said, you can do these weird start positions, but it's really all just a variation of your hands being up above the waistline area, right? And you got to go down to it. So we have below the waist, we have above the waist, and then I think, like I said, one-handed is important. Again, maybe I'm out with my wife or my children or something like that, or I have something in this hand, I gotta push them out of the way, and I have to go for this gun with one hand. So the way that I found works best for me is either grabbing the garment, or if you can get the bottom of it, that works fine too. But really just grabbing it kind of like the above the waist, and I pull like kind of in a circular motion, and I pin. So I grab, pull, pin that garment against the chest so that I can go straight down onto the gun, and it's pretty much out of the way as I draw this gun. Fingers not on the trigger yet, right? So our sights are on target. So it's just like that. In this other hand, you can kind of practice, you know, moving someone out of the way here, and you're stepping out, right? You can get both hands on the gun, that's great. But here, one-handed, okay? Grab, pull, pin, step, right? And you may not get a step in there, so really it's here, all right? And each time I'm assessing my grip, grab, oh, see that one? Grab, pull, pin, pulling up, finger off the trigger. And am I seeing my sights? So with one-handed, obviously you don't have the support hand on there, so it's gonna take a little bit, at least for me, it takes a little bit longer to say the sights, make sure they have a good sight picture, and fingers on the trigger, fingers off the trigger when our sights come off target. So those are pretty much the 3 ones that I think are applicable to everybody. That's why I think you should practice those. Below the garment, above the garment, and then a one-handed one, right? So going for it, figuring out how you can get to that gun just by pulling and pinning it and being able to do the entire process with just one hand. And that will translate, like I said, to whether you're carrying something in this hand that you can't drop, I don't know, a baby or something, or you have to move somebody out of the way, or even like in a kind of close retention shooting position. You know, if you're up here and you're blocking your head, or you're grappling with someone, that's the same movement here, pulling and pinning straight down, and then you're gonna have to shoot from retention, of course, because you won't have room if you're in a grappling type of situation. But it's that same skill set that you'll be able to develop. So that's an easy, like, I think 80-20, you know, the Pareto principle, like 80% of your results come from 20% of your practice or your inputs. So that's kind of the way I like to think about it. So I have below the waist, above the waist, and some type of one hand practice here so I can get to the gun with one hand. And that's gonna translate to all those different start positions, whether that's, you know, my hands are up like this, or they're up like this, or, you know, surrender positions in competition or something like that, or below the waist, and then, you know, whatever I said, whatever's happening with this other hand that I can't get it involved, that's what it is. So I think those are important to practice, so make sure you practice those. Especially dry fire is one of the best ways to practice this, because you don't have to go to the range, you don't have to waste that time and that money shooting live rounds. This is something you can do with an unloaded gun at home and get really good at it, and you can focus on the things that you need to focus on, building the right grip, making sure that your fingers off the trigger until you get your sights on target, all those things that are super important that you want to make subconscious skills before you go to range and you do them live fire, okay? So this is all the type of stuff that we teach at Patriot Training Center. Come out and take a live course with us. Check out our website at patriottrainingcenter.com, or click the link in the description below, and you can book a consultation call and see if our training is right for you. I'll see you in the next video.